Good evening, Speed Gaming fans. It is time for yet another race in the Final Fantasy Randomizer Co-op 2020 tournament. Tonight, we have Team A versus Team XFER ToFR. I am Dr. Funkin, and I am joined in the booth tonight by Nitz. How you doing tonight, Nitz?
I'm doing great. I'm pretty excited for this best 2 out of 3 second battle. Team A did take the first leg, so they're looking to finish it off tonight and move into the Elite 8. Some pretty tough company in the Elite 8 so far already, but XFER ToFR stands between them and that goal, and they're going to try and level it up here at 1-1 and push it to a rubber match.
Yeah, that would be real entertaining for the fans of watching more Randomizer as opposed to less. You're going to be rooting for Team XFER ToFR. But me, I'm going to try and keep it impartial. After all, I'm a commentator.
All right. Well, I appreciate the the extreme impartiality. Actually, I don't know any of the runners particularly well, so for me, impartiality is going to be very easy. I'm excited to see there's a lot of new faces, although we've got a mixture. I know Team A, for example, was a mixture of a duckling and a more seasoned player. They met coincidentally during some random couplings, and then boom, team formed out of nowhere. They were actually Team Letter A. Discovered they were both Canadian, and then went with the pun. On the other side, XFER ToFR, been around a while, and they made friends in a previous tournament, been friends ever since, and formed their team for this. So we should probably dive into the race and get them started, Dr. Funkin. I think you're running the show down there, so we should probably kick them off.
I sure am, except that I'm currently waiting for one of those teams to finish readying up. So until that happens, I'm not ready to drop the gate.
You got a fair point there. It looks like Ava's still finishing naming the party. A couple of clicks away. So while we wait. Yeah, go ahead.
I do know Jat 2980 fairly well. We've done a lot of commentary together.
What kind of a player do you expect? What kind of a team do you expect to form around a player like that? What are we looking for out of Team A?
Well, honestly, I'm not too familiar with Jad's racing, to be honest, because like I said, we do a lot of commentary together. I don't get to watch him play nearly so much.
Aha! Well, if you know the kind of person, maybe it stems from there. I think that from what I met... Oh, we're getting close now. We might be able to start this one off soon. We can go over the flags briefly while we wait for the match to begin. If this is your first match of the Co-op 2020 Final Fantasy Randomizer Tournament, it has full entrance and floor shuffle. It is going to be nearly mayhem trying to keep up with it, especially if you're new to the game. We'll do our best to help you understand what's going on, but any entrance can lead to virtually any floor of any dungeon, and that subsequent the staircase down might take you to some other floor from some other dungeon. It makes things kind of hard to follow, but it makes them very exciting for the runners who have no idea what's around any corner. They're going to rely on their teamwork skills to keep in touch with each other while they're discovering this world and know where to go, what's blocked, what to do next. That's the heart and soul of entrance and floor shuffle combined with co-op, and it makes for a really entertaining game.
It certainly does, and we've already got a question about how this works, like are items shared between the two from Drabalord. Actually, yes, key items are shared between the two players. However, shards in the shard hunt are not, and both team members do have to kill Chaos. And we are off, and we've got Titan's Tunnel East as Corneria Castle, and we're checking the weapon shop, and nothing amazing there. We've got XFER and Harm 3 for notable spells and white magic, and black magic we've got Rub, Quadex, and Fast as notable level 1 spells.
Some good level 1 magic. Harm 3 for the undead AoE. XXXX is excellent at the start of the game, killed just about anything, and Fast is one of the best pieces of black magic, so it's really nice to see that roll early. Seeing the the Corneria Castle entrance go right into Titan's East means that we might have a Ruby required seed, and that'll be kind of interesting too, because those are sort of rare.
Yep, and we have got some amazing end game armor with gold bracelets +5 and pro rings +4 in the Corneria armor shop.
Truly incredible. The +5 is actually doubled because the gold bracelet is a piece of body armor. Makes it as good as an opal bracelet on sale for 15,000 a pop. You're going to see teams kitted out with those as soon as they can afford them.
Absolutely. And for those who are not used to seeing the pluses and minuses next to equipment, that is part of a flag that we affectionately call blurst, for blessed and cursed weapons. If it is a positive number, that means the weapon or armor is better than usual, and if it's a minus, then you got a whammy and your item is worse.
All right, so keeping up, most teams have made it up to Temple of Fiends and entered directly into the Mermaid's floor. That is one of the few potentially incentivized location that has been shut off. So it is not an incentive location, just random loot. We've seen already one Esper. We'll call them shards or Espers intermittently throughout the broadcast. Colloquially, everybody likes to call this mode Shard Hunt, but the actual name is randomized like everything else. Oh yeah, check that out.
Excalibur +5. So for these fighters, it may be worth getting a promotion if we can find the tail and figure out where the heck Bahamut's hiding.
Yeah, depending on the modifier for the Mass Moon and whether or not we ever see it, that could easily be the best sword in the game.
Oh, and it looks like NPC Guillotine is on because that mermaid just got turned into bubble.
The recently repaired NPC Guillotine was an experimental feature for a long time that let you just carve right through anything, including the rod lock and things like that. So now that it's been fixed and it only works on those pesky, annoying NPCs, it can be used to avoid the poor fate that befell Jay Coper centuries ago when he got stuck behind 2 bats in the Earth Cave.
I remember watching that live, and it was the most frustrating thing, even as a spectator.
I hope there's a smile on Jay Coper's face somewhere, somehow, whatever he's doing right now.
I like to think that a single tear rolls down his cheek every time a bat is killed with the NPC Guillotine.
That could have been me. No, he played too soon. All right, we're still cleaning out the mermaids. We've got some espers, we've got some gear. We don't have any key items or progression. The progression items are also important. Not only are they synchronized between teammates, but they also yield an experience bonus for every single one you find.
That Harm 4 +3 axe is going to be a great early game item and is an amazing sweeper for any undead packs we run into.
Yeah, we've got a lot of weapons, a lot of tools to use against undead now, between the Harm 4 axe, which is incredible, and Harm 3 being available at level 1 white magic. Undead is not going to be a problem.
And that's something else we should point out. Item magic is shuffled, so what is normally the light axe, which would be a Harm 2, I believe, weapon, is now a Harm 4 axe because it randomly rolled to that.
All right, so the Dwarf Cave goes right into Corneria Castle. Jack makes it to the 2nd floor. We're going to go visit the king. The king says, here, take this crown. Still available, the king will give you his item even without you having rescued the princess. It's been that way for a couple of years, but that is about to get fixed. So this tournament might be the last one you see with the free king giving out items before the princess has even been rescued.
Yep. And you saw Jat waiting around there before resetting back just to make sure that Bert gets the crown.
All right, so relatively safe start. We've got the canal and the ship available, so that opens up a lot of the world right off the bat, just to make the floor shuffle that much more interesting. Here we are in Elfland Castle, but nothing to do there from the Melman entrance.
Nope, not so much. And we got Burt Reynolds up in a volcano.
Yes, it looks like Team A has mostly headed west, while X4Me is beginning to explore east. We're heading towards Matoya's Cave on Kenny's star screen, bottom right.
Yeah. And it looks like we ended up in the top floor of Marsh after going through that volcano floor.
Yeah, you're always going to end up at one of the dead ends. Like, of course, every dungeon has to end with a dead end. Some of them are very significant, like the Fiend fights, and others can be a bit more of a letdown, like this top floor of Marsh. It does have a few treasure chests, including an Esper, but that's a short dungeon and a quick dead end. There'll be time to get out of there for Burt Reynolds.
Yes, it will. And Titan's East is Titan's West.
If you're following, Titan's East actual dungeon was from Corneria Castle, so we can be fairly safe that it's not required now, unless, of course, the ruby yields a key item that's stuck in the Titan's Trove.
That's absolutely correct. And Jat taking some time to erase a couple of tigers today, get himself a little bit of XP.
So Provoca entrance led to, Castle Ordeals. Avis noped out of there, might not be ready for that challenge yet. It can be something of an ordeal, as the name would suggest, and the party is very low level at this point.
Yeah, it's good to know that it's there, but you probably don't want to take it on just yet.
Yeah, these parties are very low level because we had such good magic right off the bat. They got a little adventurous and they've hit the ship and they've set out. Sometimes you'll see parties like grab a couple of encounters right off the bat to gain some levels, but everyone here is sort of taking it in stride and being very aggressive. All right, Jad has already found Sarda. Let's see what the old man's got.
He's got a cube. And one thing I noticed while Jat was making his way down is that sharks have cremate, which could be real nasty with this low-level party.
All right, so
Bert's found actual Provoca. Ooh, level 2 Fade and Heal 3.
Wow. That's what you like to see if you're packing white mages. And level 2 white magic is also available to knights. So, needless to say, there's going to be a lot of Fade going on if we get that promotion, yeah.
And that Ice 3 in level 2 black magic doesn't hurt either.
Now, Ice 3 almost as powerful, depending on the enemy you're casting it on, as Fade is, actually. So, very strong magic early on.
Yep, it can actually roll higher damage than Nuke if you're casting it on something that's weak to ice.
Absolutely. Great spell.
And Burt Reynolds is taking that great spell and using it to take out the pirates, so we're going to find out what Vicky and the boys have for us today.
Vicky and the boys! They couldn't pay the rent, so they got to cough up the goods. Let's see what we got. The Ruby. Well, it's not required, but it's going to be pretty easy to turn it in for yet another incentive item. So if you're familiar with the game's incentivization, I'll run it down real quick. In this seed, we have... Let's see, Doodle? Everything is incentivized except for the Sea Shrine, the Mermaid's Floor, which you've already been to, and the Marsh Locked key chest in the bottom right corner. Everything else is incentivized. That includes the Titan's Trove, any other possibilities. So we'll see if they turn that in right away and see what they can get.
Absolutely. And we also have an Adamant for sale in Provoca in the item shop for about 17k.
Yeah, cool 17 thou will set you back, but watch and see if Burt Reynolds takes advantage of the co-op trick here. Maybe, maybe not.
Well, he did just buy it, so...
He did. So if you wait for that, this is something we can educate perhaps Burt on later, maybe they didn't realize it. After buying that item, it'll synchronize with your teammate. If you just reset out, you'll get your 17 thou back, and it'll synchronize back to you. So you don't have to actually pay that price for it. That's just a little co-op trick you can exploit. But Team A, maybe not familiar with it yet. Could be a sign of a little bit of inexperience. That's how they roll.
Yeah. But either way, it will have synced over to Jat at this point, so at the very least, Jat's not going to have to spend that cash.
That's true, that's true. And Burt just reset, so depending on when he last saved, he might have his money back.
Yeah, I think he may have taken a wipes, and I'm not sure that he saved after buying the Adamant, so...
There you go. Cash back in your pocket. This game is full of surprises. I'm still learning more about it all the time. Meanwhile, Avis met a bad end from Matoya's entrance. I missed most of that journey. All right, and just like we were saying, Burt has turned in the Ruby. We're going to check this incentive item. Let's see what we got down here.
After these Gerwolves.
We got Gerwolves.
Red. And they're stoning the crap out of his party. Oh, no.
Okay. Black Mage made it through. We're going to see the item. It is Dynamite.
All right, so maybe required. Who knows? Do you want to build a fetch quest?
Yeah, well, with everything completely shuffled, who knows what you're going to get from that. But we already have the Adamant as well, so we're really excited to find the dwarves now. Wow, Ice Sword +4 is also an excellent weapon.
And a Great Axe +5 is the best a Great Axe can be, and you're still probably not going to equip it.
It's a shame. It's not super accurate, but it does definitely have a higher hit than your Ice Sword +4. If you have, say, a red mage, not that he does, that can equip one and not the other, you might have equipped the Great Axe on the fighter, but circumstances dictate that's not necessary. Jat opting for the accuracy.
So, would the Great Axe +5 or the Harm 4 Axe +3 be a better weapon?
Oh, sorry, I got mixed up. I was talking about the Light Axe, not the Great Axe. The Great Axe is garbage.
Yes, even at +5.
That's right. Yeah, I got them mixed up. My bad.
No worries. There are so many axes to talk about.
Got an axe to grind with all these axes. All right.
Actually,
Kenny
it
Starr
looked like
clicking on the
Jad had
fire.
like 3 axes to grind.
I don't mind. I don't care how much you grind the great axe. It is never going to be worth equipping. It is just marketing hoop, marketing floof. All right, back to Elfland entrance. We'll see what we got down here. I don't know if we're too familiar with this part of the world just yet. Elfland Castle leads to the Marsh Cave middle floor.
I believe Elfland itself was Provoca, but I may be wrong about that.
All right. You can usually tell from the color scheme. If Provoca's pink, then it's a good chance it is indeed Elfland. There you go. So
And the Northwest Castle is Onrak?
It is indeed. We don't have the Oxley Ale, so it's a bit of a dead end. We can look ahead to some magic. Nothing good there. Dark, confused, forgettable stuff. And reset it right out of there.
Yeah, Jat just got slapped down by some slimes and had to reset out.
Yeah, no matter how much early magic you get, no matter how much early gear you get, you can still get dusted pretty quickly if enemies roll the wrong stuff or really high power or whatever the case may be. So the early part of an FFR run is always treacherous until you build those first, dozen levels and you start to get a bit of meat on the bones.
Yeah, and it could be tough because these slimes are a spike tile, but Fade goes off and they start dying, so it looks like he got it this time. Oh wow, one of them survived, but this ice... Okay. Nope. That got hit by 2 ice 3s and a Fade and still managed to survive, so now it's gone.
Yeah, depending, might be... Opal is +1, so the Opal 1 bracelet is still going to...
And it looks like that Q block led to the basement of Marsh Cave. Which is funny because it started with, right before the Q block was the top section of the bottom section of Marsh.
Yeah, that is pretty awesome. And the Mirage Tower shares a palette with the Marsh Cave and a tile set, so it actually matches, which is pretty sweet.
Oh my goodness, so what do we got here? Oh, a whole bunch of bad men. Jad's gonna try and run away from these guys. They're hitting kind of hard. 2 hits for 103. Oof. Oh yeah, he's not getting the run, and they are just stabbing him. Oh,
it's getting ugly. It's getting ugly.
And
it's not ugly. That is unfortunate. 4 failed runs and 2 black mages. Early on the game, black mages have about a 50% chance to run, so to not get either of those is bad luck. And then the fighter and the white mage, that's a tough beat.
It certainly was.
And it was a tough beat down on part of the bad mans as well. It's a personal thing. I just love calling them bad mans. I think everyone that just doesn't like it, it makes me want to do it more and more. But those bad mans are trouble.
Yeah, someone needs to come get their bad mans.
Can they escape the long arm of the law? All right, we got these slimes again. Slimes, Ice 3, not really cutting the mustard, but looks like we'll get away with it this time.
Yep. And it was a larger pack of them too, so that's a lot of XP. Like, if I were Jet, I might even consider walking that XP out. Yep.
He's thinking about it. Can he get out? Ran into some wyverns, which is just
touched to death by these worms, though.
Still got a chance. There's still a chance. There's no more chance. Those 2 back-to-back deaths, that's the kind of thing that you really got to shrug off, because that's just like FFR trying to do its thing against you. If you get tilted on something like that, it can really cost you a lot of time as you get frustrated. But if you can shrug it off and be like, that happens, gotta play on, then which is what looks to be the case, then you really only lose a minute from that. That's not a game-losing piece of bad luck. You can bounce back.
Plus, this is a co-op tournament, so it's not like it's a huge loss because his partner is still out making progress and sharing information with him.
Yes, there is a huge amount to be said for remembering, taking good notes, or using your head if you've got that kind of brain power to keep track of where everything is, what your teammate still has to do. Both players have to fully beat the game. Even though they're sharing everything, they're not sharing orbs. They have to tell each other where to get all the shards, orbs, shards, espers, whatever you want to call them. They got to tell each other where to get all 28 that they need. And they both have to finish ToFR and defeat Chaos. And so there's lots of time to gain ground if your opponents get confused, if they forget, if they don't communicate, if they can't remember stuff, they're going to leave the door open. You got to be prepared to make that comeback.
Oh no, only one slime left, and it crit back road his white mage.
Yeah, it's they call that cutting all 8 heads off the 9 heads off the Hydra. It's too bad. We'll see what the plan is here. Still got some levels on everybody else.
Meanwhile, Burt Reynolds has found Crescent Lake, and we've got Warp, Temper, and Fire 3 for notable level 6 Black Magic, which is really good. And it looks like Warp is currently Black Mage learnable, so he was able to pick that up on both his Black Mage.
That's huge. Now you really can seriously think about trying to do a quick grind to get some charges of that, because early Warp charges can save you tons of time. They can save you from wiping, they can get you out of miserable floors with a key item or something. Although with co-op, it's not as important, because the items will synchronize. You might be able to get out of a dungeon and keep all your levels and stuff. You can't overstate the value of Warp. It also can, completely short-circuit the Ice Cave, for example.
Yep, and the old men in the park had a bottle of Oxyale for Burt Reynolds. Completely missed when we got the canoe, but it's been hectic.
Question in chat from Eldromar. There are more than 28 espers in the game, right? How many are there? There are 32 loosely scattered throughout chests, and then there are an additional 10 you can get from defeating the fiends. 2 each by lighting the earth and fire orbs, and 4 each. Wait, that's bad math. So that's an additional 12 you can get from lighting all 4 orbs. 2 each from earth and fire, and 4 each from water and air.
I'm being told in our chat that TNT turn-in is what gave us the canoe.
There we go.
Thanks to Lucky Di Vitale.
It's good for people to keep us honest, because there's a lot going on here. And even if you're staring at it, you can still miss it. So
yeah, with how hectic this is, we could just start lying about everything that's happening right now, and no one would know the difference.
Just call it like it's a different game. We got a Pro Ring 4. All right, we found Matoya. I think we got the crystal here. We're going to talk to the old lady? Cure those cataracts? No. Just have to put that one in the books. No crystal yet. And that was from Ice Cave entrance. So, mark that off on your bingo card. We got to go back.
And it's worth going back for... It may even be worth it for Jat to go later if he doesn't end up being the one who finds the crystal, simply because that's a free Pro Ring +4.
And here we have our first real clear evidence that one team may be a little ahead of the other. So X for me, just getting around to turning in the Ruby and clearing out Titan's Trove to get, I believe, the TNT, which we know yields the canoe, which Team A has now had for, a couple minutes. So that's they still have to turn that in to get it as well. So you can start to see a little bit of a lead emerging for Team A.
Yep. And it looks like Jat managed to save some levels from one of those slime fights, and then survive a second slime fight to try and figure out what's actually on this floor.
Yeah, so much of the co-op and exploration is just knowledge. Like, you don't always have to be able to get out of everywhere alive. You don't always have to get to the item at the end. But being able to see the next floor, if there's like a dungeon that's 17 floors deep and know what it is and what to expect, even little tidbits like that can make a huge difference.
Yep. And if there's something awesome in this incentivized chest here, and Jat is worried about not being able to make it past those slimes, he can just sit here and wait for it to sink to Burt Reynolds, then die. It's a chime that could be useful, depending on what's at the tower. But once that chime sinks over to Burt Reynolds, if Jat dies out of here, he'll get the chime back.
Exactly. So, yeah, is there anything else important on this floor? We don't have the Mystic Key, so we can't check the bottom chests. Cross our fingers there's nothing down there. We know it's not incentivized, so it's not going to be a game breaker, but you never know what could be down there. Oh, Ice Shield +1. That'll go nicely with the Flame Armor.
Absolutely. That's a great pair to have.
Yep, the Flame Armor provides Ice Resist. The Ice Shield provides Fire Resist. It's old school when they did it that way. I believe they inverted that relatively soon after, so the Fire Armor provided Fire Resist and so on, but in this game, they're flip-flopped.
Alright, let's see if these slimes play nice. So far, they're taking their ice. slap down one of the black mages. Now they're doing the correct thing and hitting on the fighter, and now Fade's coming out to clean up most of them. So it looks like Jad's going to be able to get out of here relatively soon.
And Jad's teammate Bert has made it to the top of Ordeals. Easy thing to do, easy thing to forget to do. Remember which forks, up, down, near, far, so that when it's Jad's turn, if there's any good gear up here, he can just blow through it. Or you observe that there's nothing valuable, you get the incentive item and you get out, and your teammate doesn't even have to bother. So we'll see what shakes out once we open up all these chests.
All right, Jad's made it safely out of that very dangerous Mirage Tower floor, and makes it out, and is able to... Ooh, we got a huge pack of Argoyles for Burt Reynolds. That could be dangerous, but he manages to run away.
Yeah, once you get past that trap tile through that doorway, the rest of this is just random encounters until the end, but you can get the incentive item before... Oh! One step and a couple of sorcerers. Gonna take a chance at these guys, see how tough they are.
Nah, changing his mind, running him with everyone and then casting Fade. And considering Fade didn't kill him and they've got heal, that seems like the smart plan.
Yeah, it's time to get out. You don't want to mess with... They're a scary enemy in vanilla because they have death touch, but sometimes in rando, if that gets shuffled away, they can be, just kittens. So it really depends.
So we got a vanilla tail and a couple of espers. So, considering we found that XCal +5, it may be worth doing ordeals regardless.
Well, the tail's going to be synchronized.
Oh,
so...
well, that's true. But there were a pair of espers there.
Yeah.
And so depending on how easy it is to get through ordeals, it might be worth it for them.
Exactly. Like if you know which portals to take and you know which chests they are and you have exit because it's late game and you're Jad and you just need a couple more shards, that's exactly the type of thing where you might take 2 minutes to get them and your opponents might take 4 because they went someplace else that took longer. So that's exactly what we're talking about here when we're saying, take notes and being able to dynamically finish off the game for the second player.
Yep, and Bert taking a couple of Sorias, helping him get into those mid-teens. Oh, the spike tile in ordeals is Sorias, so he's taken this a few times.
Yeah, that's just tactical play here. You can get out as soon as you're done, so you can burn through all your magic charges. You get a free escape just by stepping on the big comfy couch right there, so you can blow up the Sorias. They're great EXP. This is just a heads up, sort of, take advantage of the opportunity that presents itself for Bert to grind a couple levels here.
Yeah, and they're not hitting super hard. They do have Poison Touch, which is mildly annoying, but not especially dangerous.
Yeah, it's a crime of opportunity. Like, you've got some magic, they're kind of easy, they're worth a lot of EXP. As soon as you're out of charges, you just get out of here.
Alpha Squid asking if there are random battles. Yes, there are random battles. This what Burt Reynolds happens to be doing is just using a spike tile, which is not a random battle.
FFR, Final Fantasy 1 almost introduced the world. Dragon Warrior, about the same time. They both, you take so many steps and then boom, random encounter. And you can run away from most of them, but not all. And in the original game, it was not clear at all which battles you could run away from or not. But the randomizer does you the courtesy of telling you by way of run turning into wait if you cannot run away. And you'll see these runners run away from almost every random battle they fight until they find the ones they want to take because they know they're good experience or because they have to. Fighting random battles is a bit of a waste of time compared to finding the high experience fights and fighting them over and over and over really fast to gain all that experience that you need. Grinding as you go is another strategy, but it is employed judiciously because some fights are just not worth the time. But it's a great question.
Jat making use of all those harm axes to take on some undead.
And the group of bad mans for Avos. Discretion going to be the better part of Valor, tries to run away. They are hitting hard. They're just cutting right through that armor. But Avos dodges them, gets away, grabs the chime. We don't have the floater yet, and I don't believe we have northern progression enabled. So the only way to get up north is with the floater. Let me double check that before I make a liar of myself.
Ooh, Jat's found the Sharknado floor.
Yes, that's correct.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Red Hags have rub. And crack.
That's ugly. That's not pretty. 70, 16. Oh, didn't even give it that last chance. Just got out. Well, at least the actual Ordeal's entrance goes right into the Sky Maze floor. In top left, Burt Reynolds has found one of our forks. There's only 2 forks outside of the Temple of Fiends in the original game. The entrance to the Sea Shrine, which we have there, and the second floor of Marsh.
Yep, and that one leads to some sky and some volcano.
We've got some
on the right.
Blue flame. Burt Reynolds beats a hasty retreat. I mean, that's got to be even hotter than a red fire, so you don't want to touch that.
And is that the Lich
floor? Oh, yeah. It sure is. Lich floor. It's much bigger than it needs to be because Lich is hiding off to the left. There's a whole bunch of open space and nothing at all out to the right. But everybody knows that now, so Burt might just fish hook around there and take out the Fiend of Earth. We shall see.
And considering you've got a couple of Harm 4 axes, that should not be difficult.
No, this should be shooting fish in a barrel. Now, I don't know who keeps barrels full of fish and why you'd be shooting at them, but it sounds easy, you know?
Ooh, Burt Reynolds showing some respect and healing up before pulling Lich.
Lich looking good. I like the color scheme there. I don't think it's going to help Lich a whole heck of a lot, but looking good.
Alright, so Ice 3 comes out, 61, fast on the Knight, which is a little superfluous when we're using the Harm 4 axe, 174 damage from that Fade. Lich casts Dark, so basically nothing. Harm 4 does 236, and Lich managing to survive, so we're going to do another round of piddling on him with some Ice 3. Gonna swing that axe, 6 hits, 197, goodbye Lich, and that's 2 more Espers.
Lich has so many weaknesses. You only cast Ice if you have no other options, but those Black Mages have been one-trick ponies all game long.
Yeah, we just really haven't gotten high enough level to get those level 6 spells, and we haven't found Elfland to get the level 3 and 4s.
And so Burt Reynolds got the Oxyale, charges through. Just a quick check there. Got 8 shards on Burt Reynolds' screen, give you an idea. That's not very far away through our journey to 28, but they do start to come thick and strong eventually, because these runners are not skipping any chests. You probably noticed them cleaning out every floor they've got to, because they're looking for those shards, and most of them are in chests, right? And eventually, it starts to snowball, and you'll see the second half go much faster than the first.
And we got a Vanilla Crystal from Astos, and on Burt Reynolds' side, on the left hand of the C-split. Meanwhile, Jat is on the carry floor.
Kenny Starr taking a little bit of R&R in a gorgeously red-tinted Crescent Lake. Just a lovely fall season.
Yep. And the incentivized carry floor chest had the loot in it.
Right on. You don't leave home without that. You're not going to get too far through ToFR, about halfway. It has been forgotten many times.
Those are some real ketchup and mustard looking Gersharks there on Burt Reynolds.
Delicious. I love my Gersharks with ketchup and mustard.
I'm allergic to seafood, so it doesn't mean anything to me.
And I'm actually a vegetarian. But the point remains. It was supposed to be funny. Forget about it.
We're just the worst commentators to be talking about seafood.
Really are. We really are. You could say we're out of our element. Okay, I'm done. That goes on the long list of bad Nits puns. There's a book out there somewhere that no one wants to read. Okay, Jat is through Earth Cave floor 2. And...
well, Jat is going back down because Jat took a wipe.
Right. Pesky images putting everybody to sleep. The higher level you get, the less annoying sleep is. I mean, it's always annoying, but your party starts to wake up almost 100% of the time once you gain just a few levels.
Falconic asks in chat, saying, I wonder if the colors of the locations mean anything. Yes, they do. When we have entrances and floors shuffled, the colors are used as an indicator so that you can have a idea as to where you entered from.
Yeah, that's a bit of a loaded question, Falconic. A bit of a just floating it out there. Now, it's a lot of the colors are made up. for locations that used to be towns or whatever that had no specific color. You can blame me for all the color choices, but it's a way of helping you remember the entrance. So when you see green here, depending on, there's a few different places that could be green, like Northwest Castle, and any place that had a naturally green tint, like the Marsh Cave. Unfortunately, some floors share their palette with other floors, so the biggest one wins. And that's why I went from green to purple back to green, because that little fire floor from the volcano shares its color palette with a bigger volcano floor, so the purple one wins. If you're really shrewd and you know which ones are shared, you can guess what entrance leads to the other fire floor based on what palette it was. But that's getting pretty out there.
That requires a lot more thinking than my concussion-addled brain can do.
And I just don't remember, so forget about it. Alright, Ava's taking some time in town. Fire 3, Temper, and Warp, all at level 6. That's some good stuff. Warp is probably the most useful immediately. Fire 3 is pretty good, depending on the enemy you're casting it on. And then Temper, that's some late game stuff that you'd just be happy to have charges of in ToFR for sure.
Well, none of it's immediately useful because we're not high enough level to cast any of it.
We can aspire to great things.
That's right. Oof, Burt Reynolds is getting taken to task by these stun-touch mummies.
Sometimes it's actually the enemies that slow you and stop you and stun you that are worse than the ones that just outright wipe you. Because you sit there paralyzed for who knows how long, you get frustrated, and then sometimes you end up wiping just later, and it stings. Right, but Lich is gone, and Burt just stumbles through out the back door.
Yep. Jonathan Yoshi was asking if Burt was going to kill Lich again. I'm guessing that because he had left some chests behind, it was quicker at that point to go back through Lich floor than it was to walk all the way back out.
Sporophyte is all over the water puns. You would think that I would open with a line like that with a water pun in my back pocket, but I'm all washed up.
Yeah, I figured that's where that one was going.
I'm just up the creek. Okay, that's enough. Alright. Burt Reynolds now sailing the inner sea one more time.
Ooh, now here's a great floor on Jat's side. He has found greater than less than room.
It's chest dense for all your treasure opening pleasure. Let's see how this goes.
If you don't know why it's called greater than less than room, well, he may have already found it and we missed it because he just didn't bother with those chests.
Yeah.
There's a couple of patterns of chests that look like greater than and less than symbols.
It's a brilliant name because it makes perfect sense and it has caught on like wildfire. All right. Jet on the next floor, which is actually the top of Ice Cave. Most of the Ice Cave dungeon is fixed, even in floor shuffle, because it has, for this game anyway, complicated interaction where it has a loop back, and it just doesn't work to shuffle those floors. It creates a bizarre scenario that we avoided by keeping them clumped together. But Ice Cave 1 is not part of that loop, and so it can lead to anywhere.
Meanwhile, both black mages are down, and got ambushed by a whole bunch of gargoyles. Well, Bert's gonna go show us what that crystal is. All right, Matoyo, what you got for us? A floater!
Oh,
hey!
Yeah. One shiny clear rock traded for one floating... I've always imagined the floater was gray. I think in later games you actually see it, and it's kind of got a gray hue to it. So you traded a shiny rock for a dull one, but that dull one is a lot more valuable.
Either way, that's going to be massive for their team, who already had a little bit of a exploration advantage. That exploration advantage is going to skyrocket as soon as these two get in the air.
Yeah, this might blow things wide open. There's so many entrances that are made immediately available. It depends on how the shards shake out, but they could, they could end up with a lead here that'll be hard to catch up. We'll see.
Well, ghosts are luckily casting, not so luckily casting Glare and taking out the fighter. Ghosts are really dangerous because they hit really hard. Well, the white mage managed to survive with 15 hit points and gain a boatload of XP. I think this is a suicide dive at this point, and it leads to what I'm guessing is a procedurally generated waterfall.
That's what it looks to be. So, there's some procedural generation available, but the waterfall is definitely the best implemented one, and it was used for this tournament because it's known to be fairly stable. No, it actually works. So somewhere in here, there's going to be the room that we're accustomed to, but you're going to have to look for it because you can't just use your muscle memory anymore. It's different every seat.
And you could always just get one shot by a nightmare.
Yeah, they'll be back. Oh, Spiky just got toasted up in the top left corner. A random.
Sporophyte pointing out that with the floater, this run is really going to start to take off.
Garland was looking fly, but he's toast. No.
And at about 36 minutes, Bert got into the air. Jat has left Ordeal's castle behind and is going to turn in the floater as well to also get in the air.
Princess Sarah hands out a Ribbo -4. The absorb bonus of 1 that it normally gives you, it cannot be reduced below 1. So the Ribbo -4 is still almost as good as a regular ribbon. It just has a slightly harsher evasion penalty. Not that that's really a big deal for those klutzy mages.
Yeah, I mean, you care about the fact that it cuts all elemental damage. It gives you protection from all elemental damage more than you care about what it does for evade and absorb.
I just mentioned it gets all like tangled up in the robe. If you could be any more tangled up than somebody wearing a robe into a battlefield, but there's where it goes. All right, so we're at the vampire floor on Burt Reynolds' window up there. Cycle through here. Avis in Ordeals. Kenny Starr also looks like Sky Castle floor 1. This, speaking of floors with lots of chests. And Jat shopping.
Yeah, it's about time to buy some gold bracelets +5 with how many wipes he's taken. I'm sure he's a little frustrated at this point and get as much absorb as he can.
Honestly, the gold bracelet +5, I believe, is a better armor than the flame armor. So, could have even picked up a set for the fighter. Obviously, the flame armor gives you ice resist, but outside of that,
I don't think he could afford to do so.
They are pricey.
After all, if he could afford to, I imagine he also would have got some more pro rings.
Yeah, there's some pretty darn good defensive gear in Coneria, which is handy. Easy access. Kenny Starr staring down a single eye. Looks like he's going to maybe take this one and chooses to run. Eye's usually pretty good EXP.
Eye is generally excellent XP, yep. But gets away. Meanwhile, Burt Reynolds is fighting some statues of vampires.
Yeah. And there's one with, like, miscolored hair. Perhaps the gray vampire.
Yeah, it is crazy how similar the vampire and Whizvamps were on that color palette. And, oh hey, Jat found Melmond.
Well, it's something to be excited about. It's a watery Melmond, which is funny because it's sort of like a disgusting desert town. So it's just like a soggy, destroyed town. Typical. And just next
an elfland. That's something to be excited about.
The elves live in the beautiful woods, and the Melmondites live in the disgusting sandy swamp.
Yep. And so we've got Quake and Zap for notable level 3 black magic. And what do we got on whites? Wall and Cure 4, both excellent pickups.
Level 3? Yeah, you can't beat that.
And coming back around.
Not even going to bother. Item shop, let's see what we got. Looking for houses? Yeah, maybe. For some cabins still. Houses reasonably priced.
Yeah, anytime it's less than 1,000 for a house, I'm happy. And what do we got for level 4? Life. Life is a great spell to have, so we're happy to get that on the white mage. And level 4 black magic. Lit 3. So we've got all 3 of our level 3 sweepers accounted for. And Lock 2, which can be excellent in a late game.
Yeah, that's a pretty good set of magic in Elfland. I mean, it's a magical town. They got 2 sets of shops for all your mage magic needs. And here we got the vampire top left. Say hi, vampire. Say bye, vampire. What do we got? It's an incentive chest. Burt Reynolds finds the rod. That's convenient. Just file that under.
Yeah, now we can just keep going.
Lazy rod. See, a lot of people might duck away from that floor. Oh, there we go. And this is one thing we really want. The King of Dragons.
Level 8, Life 2.
That's a shame. The Tail of a Rat.
And now we get to equip... Oh, we had a Sun Sword +5 as well? Wow, that's some great weaponry.
Yeah, no kidding. Cast off the Stone of Shame. Cast on the Opal Bracelet. We could have worn that one anyway. But, really no knight armor. It might have been some helmet there, but now we got those warp charges we were talking about. This is a place you want to get out of. Can't reset out a promotion.
Well, that's good information to have, that Sarda's Cave eventually leads to Bahamut.
Yeah, we know that the Excalibur is reason enough probably to promote. And you can get Fade for that night now. There's just so many reasons.
And I don't remember what slot Cure 4 was in, but potentially Cure 4 as well.
I think it was the 3rd slot, so I think it'll work. Yeah, you want to pick that up too. Oh, had to guillotine that poor gentleman in Caneria outside of the armor shop.
Say goodnight.
Savage.
And
Bert... Yeah. It's like getting trampled in a parking lot on Black Friday. Like, you need those gold bracelets? It happens.
He needed bracelets, he needed rings, apparently.
Jonathan Yoshi, our tracker tonight, keeping everyone up to date in chat with the shard count. Burt Reynolds 10, Jat only 3, Ava 6, Kenny Star 4. So, again, Burt Reynolds and Jack combined with a bit of a lead, but of course, every individual player is going to have to get 28 and then work their way through the Temple of Fiends Revisited. So, still a lot of FFR to play tonight, but certainly a bit of a lead. With Burt Reynolds having 10, obviously knowing where those 10 all are, it's fair to say that Team A is out in front.
Yep, and Jat is making his way down to Bahamut to get his class change. And Avos picking up the floater at 43 minutes and 50 seconds for Team XFER ToFR.
Yeah, Kenny Star immediately dropping anchor, doing a hard left in the ship to cut through the canal. Gonna head straight for that promotion, I imagine. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if XFER ToFR is like, probably behind. Could have got that quicker. So we'll see if they change their approach, fan out, and really start island hopping and doing everything you can do with the floater to make some ground back.
All right, there you go. Using the TNT is not going to help you get past the rod block. You'd think it would, because it's just a slab, but unfortunately TNT don't work like that.
You gotta be really careful. That's like an old cave, man. The whole thing is coming down, you start blowing stuff up. So just a magical rod is what you need, not a massive explosion.
Oh, apparently we got Nuke at level 5, so that's good to see for the Black Mages.
All 3 level 3 spells, I think, were at different levels, and then Nuke at level 5. It's a pretty great set. I mean, sure, you might ask for Nuke at level 1, but you can't complain too much with that.
I don't complain if I see Nuke at level 5 or lower.
Yeah, as long as you're going to have a few charges by the time you get to the end, that's really all you need. There it is, for $1,000. You Nuke for a song, you know? I love it.
Absolutely.
It makes the game a lot better if Nuke is somewhere further along. It can be a bit too equalizing if you get a very early game Nuke. So if I was any of these runners, I'd be happy to see it in the middle levels. It lets me, outplay my opponent in other ways instead of providing a great equalizer early. That's just my gut feel. Different people feel differently, and that's perfectly okay. But I love it when Nuke rolls a little bit later in the season. right. Kenny Star cleaning through the Fire Cave Armory. Normally on Volcano Floor 2, but obviously not tonight. Nevertheless, this room is packed with chests. As far as one room goes, it has got to be the most chests in our room. Usually you'll find a few shards here, plus any other gear. Silver bracelets, or gauntlet plus 4. Doing some inventory around. Sometimes I like to pack the inventory full and then do all the management later instead of worrying too much about each individual thing. But it is so tempting to equip anything as soon as you get it.
Meanwhile, Jat has been trying to do a grind on that Vamp Whizvamp tile, and his black mages were not having it. They just kept getting punched right the heck down.
Yes, grind tiles are a dangerous game. Depends how close they are to the entrance of the cave and how hard they hit. Do they have like an ambush bonus? There's a lot of reasons why it can get ugly, but I respect the attempt. It's like going for big game.
Well, it looks like he's comfortable with it because he just dropped a house and went right back in.
Those levels aren't going to grind themselves.
No, but with where Jat is currently at for Espers, it might not be the best use of his time to sit there and grind on these vamps.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd love to see a few more key items. Just keep getting them as long as your party's good enough, because every key item gives you a 10% EXP boost, and it just keeps stacking, right? So if you can save that grind until late game, it'll just go that much faster. We do have a Vorpal sighting. It was at -2. You would have to be a pretty hardcore Vorpal fan to pop that thing on over top of an Xcal +5 or a Sunsword +5. It's still got a reasonable crit chance, but it's really not half the sort it could be.
No, not at all. Honestly, I don't think we're going to be equipping anything else unless we find a Masa at, like, +2 or 3.
Yeah, the Xcal +5 is great, and it hits hard against every single family, which means you get an additional bonus attacking almost virtually every enemy. There are some enemies that have no family at all, so it doesn't get that bonus against them. And most importantly, Chaos is in that group, so the Xcal doesn't get that additional bonus against the final boss. That's one place where Masa usually outperforms it. But with Xcal +5, that's a pretty good sword.
Yep, hard to beat. And it looks like both Burt Reynolds and Jat are taking this vamp grind.
Yeah, it's a pretty high EXP grind. It's high risk, high reward. You're going to lose party members left, right, and center, but it still may be worth it. I mean, as long as anybody survives, they're going to get all the EXP, so...
And hopefully the White Mage survives each time, since the White Mage does have life.
Yeah, with nuke charges, it's significantly easier. We'll see how many they've got, though, because it was level 5, so you're not going to have a ton.
Well, they've got those Harm 4 axes, so you're probably not even bothering to cast nuke.
I saw one come out, but yeah, you're right. The odds are stacked against this vampire party. There's no doubt about that. But with 7 of them, it can go wrong in a hurry.
The part that's going the worst is when the Whizvamp decides to punch, because the Whizvamp hits like a truck.
All right. So we're approaching the 50-minute mark, and there's a bit of grinding going on the left side of your screen. Team A obviously pretty happy to be where they are, taking the time to pick up those levels. On the other side, XFER, ToFR, you, still screaming through dungeons looking for gear. I did surmise they expected they might have been a little behind based on how long it took them to find the floater. You're seeing the outcome of that now, where they're not stopping for any kind of grind at all. They are going full speed trying to, get their progression, find their shards, finish the game.
And depending on how difficult ToFR ends up being, that could end up paying off for them. Like, if they get into ToFR before Burt Reynolds and Jat do over on Team A, they may be able to just take it down.
It's absolutely true. Like, if it's a soft ToFR, and you get in there even in the low 20s, you might be able to make it through. And you could do all the preparation in the world. If it turns out to not be necessary, then you could let it slip away. On the other hand, that's relatively unlikely, The enemy scaling is fairly high, and so there's nothing wrong with taking the grind when you got it. We'll see which strategy pays off. It's anybody's game.
Yeah, and that is a fairly efficient grind. There's a lot of XP coming from that vamp tile, and they've got all but 3 key items at this point, so it's not like they're even missing much as far as XP go.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a, kind of cash grab to find all the shards they still need. Even for a team in the lead, it's not like they have a ton. Just looking at Burt Reynolds, he appears to have 10. Like, 10 from 28 is barely a third of what you need. Like, you can't feel too comfortable, no matter how well the race has gone, and it has gone well, to feel great about that. You, like, at some point, you're like, where are they all? So, like, there's always that voice in the back of your mind, like, are we getting outraced? Are they somehow ahead of us? And you gotta squash that voice and play your game, which appears to be what they're doing. And so I like the strategy.
Technically, both teams are tied right now as far as total number of shards. Burt Reynolds has got 10, Jat's got 3 for 13, whereas Avos has got 8, and Kenny Starr's got 5 for 13.
Yeah, there you go. Like, it wasn't long ago that I was confident in saying that Team A had a lead, but now everyone has the floater. They have, in total, the same number of shards. It's tightened up a bit, I'd say.
It certainly has. I can say that Burt and Jat over on Team A do have a level advantage, but who knows? Maybe by not stopping at this point, Avos and Kenny Star find a better grind tile.
Not only they might find a better grind tile, but if they, it's fair to say Team A has almost all the key items, so they pretty much max their modifier. But it's possible for XFER ToFR U to wait until they truly have everything and grind a little faster because of all the extra key items. So, again, we just don't know yet. Now there's something you're always looking for, the Mystic Key. You start to wonder whenever you find it, what are all the things I went to that were key locked that I had to skip? The Dwarf Cave, Corneria Castle, Elfland Castle, the bottom of Marsh. There are so many places that we have already been to that they could go back to or not, depending on whether or not they think they need to.
Pretty sure we've been past TFC as well.
Yes, that's a good point. Another subtle thing you can easily just completely ignore. The way the incentive items are stacked, there are 3 extra locations. So TFC has no chance of having an incentive item that you need, but it could have something great like the Masamune. You never know. Masamune's not incentivized tonight. It could be sitting there waiting for you. On the other hand, the only locked place that you really need to check is Corneria Castle, because that one's incentivized. None of the others really are.
And it looks like Jat skipped out on the hairpin chest, so he's going to miss out on a second ribbon there.
And Burt taking his time, clearing out the ice cave. The ice cave is pretty chest dense on that floor. There's a room with a couple, there's a room with 6 at the bottom. There's quite a few trap tiles that you have to hit. Like, to clear out that room on the left, you have to hit the same trap tile twice to even get down here. Because he used warp to quickly get the key item. That means you're kind of... You could have just warped all the way out of the dungeon, but he obviously wanted to check them all, so you have to do all that extra work to do so.
Yeah, but that warp still gets you those chests nice and quick, so...
Yeah.
It's worth it to only have to do the single loop.
You can save 1 trap tile, sort of, by... maybe you don't. By going to the room on the left, and then warping up, and then going in again. But then you have to hit the trap tile by the doorway twice. So really, it's all kind of the same.
Level 8 exit. Hate to see it, along with Invis 2. It's especially brutal seeing Invis 2 at level 8, considering we have shuffled item magic, so there's no guarantee that we're going to get a white shirt that lets us cast Invis 2 on the whole party.
Yeah, the odds are quite low. Oh, there's level 5 nuke. There it is for Kenny Star. Happy to find that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're probably not going to get an Invis 2 on any piece of gear. It's a level 8. You're not going to get to cast it, and that is definitely one of your best, some of your best white magic there. Fog 2, almost as good. You're going to take a bunch of hits, but they're all going to do 1 damage. So it's in the same ballpark as Invis 2, and it's certainly a fine alternative if Invis 2 is level 8. But I haven't seen Fog 2, and maybe no one's been looking for it either.
Yeah, I can't say I've kept my eye out for it.
It's one of those things where you don't really think about it until all of a sudden you're like, oh no, Invis 2 is level 8. Fog 2 would be pretty good, especially if there were lots of charges. But then you forget if you've ever seen it or not because you weren't looking for it. It can just disappear into history.
They do have a single target Invis helm, which will be good for their fighters. But it's not the same as being able to make the entire party safe. Jonathan Yoshi telling us that Fog 2 is level 7 in on-rack, so we did see that.
There you go. Some people are just incredible at paying attention. Exit at level 8. That's painful.
That's why Jonathan Yoshi's one of our trackers. Love to see it.
Yeah, we can be watching the same race and somehow forget about it for me, but Jonathan Yoshi got our back.
I'm good at talking, not paying attention.
I was elected to lead, not to read. Kenny Star doing a little bit of magic shopping. In Elfland, we know there's some pretty good stock here.
Oh, and it looks like Jat is gonna go fight the big calamari.
Here we go. That'll put some shards on your plate. Kraken! Dun dun dun. Let's see how this goes. Tempering up that knight. Invis 2 at level 8. Got a charge of it. Got a cast of it. How many charges do you really need?
Lit 2 coming out from Kraken 2, which is basically a free turn considering Kraken 1, considering it can still punch real bad.
Usually, yeah. That Lit 2, not so bad.
Throwing out some Lock 2 so we can get some extra hits.
Easy to hit, lots of temperers, we got fast. 10 hits, 787. This is going to be... Oh, that hold is annoying. We'll see if AAAA snaps out of it.
Now we're gonna go to nuke strats.
It makes sense. Oh boy!
Remember when I said Kraken 1 can still hit hard?
How much HP has this Kraken 1 got? 91 finishes it off. That's close. That could have turned around in a hurry, but because of that 800 strike from that knight before it was killed, the nukes and fades are able to finish it off. Jet gets out of there with a really well played Kraken, honestly. Got a bit lucky that Kraken didn't do those attacks sooner, but had a good strategy and got out of there alive.
Yeah, and that's a massive swing. That puts Jat tied with Avos, who is still the shard leader for Team XFER ToFR. Yeah,
and that's another thing. Like it goes beyond just where things are. You know, Jat can relay all of that information, the entire set of skills that they saw, and even the script, so that Burt Reynolds knows what he's up against here. He's now taking on Kraken himself.
And Burt clearly has that info because he's taking time to use that Invis helm that he picked up on the knight so that the knight is less likely to get smacked.
Exactly. Kraken's got about 1,600 health, something like that based on my count. Almost 2k. And just making sure you make your knight invincible to that attack. Then you don't have to worry about the magic, you don't have to worry about all those soft mages getting horribly killed, and you should be able to do this just fine. There you go. Dodge so many attacks, only took 35 damage, 10 hits, 782, and that's why you do all that invising.
Goodbye, Kraken. That'll bump Burt builds up to 15 shards.
Meanwhile, Avis just picked up a Ruse sword, which is, you know, it's no Invis 2, but it actually does more. Ruse provides twice the evasion bonus that Invis 2 does, but only on the caster.
That's actually something you're going to be super excited to see, because normally, yeah, you can... Wait, no, sorry, I'm thinking of something else. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, it sounds great, whatever it was.
I was confusing Ruse with Saber and thinking about the Power Bonk.
Right. One of the things about item magic is you can get some pretty good stuff, but the vanilla item magic is pretty good. Saber is available on, of course, the the Power Gauntlet, and Ruse is already available on the vanilla defense sword, so everything is there. I just didn't see whether it was the Ruse, which is actually just the vanilla defense sword, or if it was the Ruse with the sword icon, which means it took over for the Bane sword. I didn't see.
And we got a war mech on Burt Reynolds' side. It's a very sickly-looking war mech.
It's like a toxic mech.
Someone's got to run Norton on that thing.
I don't think that's going to help. But maybe it'll kill it. Invis, helmet, tempers up on ale. Let's see what we got here. Got all of those buffs off before Warmech killed any of those mages. That's what you want to see if you're Burt. Now it's time to do a little
bit of temper, a little bit of lock, a little more Invis 2.
Going to be in good shape here. You really want to pay attention and see what this Warmech casts too. Oh, there's a nuclear. Nothing that you do buffing your party is going to protect you from that. That nuclear is just going to rip right through you. It's non-elemental, just like Nuke, just not quite as powerful as Nuke.
Speaking of Nuke, we're switching to Nuke strats and dropping one Nuke for 163, another for 234, and oh hey, Warmech's gone.
Yeah,
that's some big levels on Burt's surviving party members there.
Yeah, you were right, Doctor, when you called it sickly. Excellent diagnosis. Warmech was just waiting to die. Did not have very much HP. That's something you could tell Jat, your teammate, when you're getting there. You know, you can buff up, you can buff up, you can buff up, or honestly, you can just go postal with like nuke strats and probably bring it down in a couple of rounds anyway. So we'll see.
Yep. And especially with where Jat is with shards and whatnot, that is great information to have, because knowing that you can easily get past the required Warmech means that there's another 4 shards waiting for you just beyond with Tiamat.
Yeah, it's a nice room. You get a ton of EXP if you can get past the Warmech, and then of course you got the 4 shards right behind Tiamat. I expect Jat to do that.
But first, oh hey, that is a nuke casting item that Jat just found in Keylock Temple of Fiends.
We like to call that the can opener. The nuke.
Goes ahead and throws that right on the fighter, because why not? Why shouldn't the fighter also have nuke as well as fade?
A Proca -1. The Provocaca. No, it's a Pro Cape with a slightly less defense than usual, but still the best shield any of those mages are going to equip.
And blink and you miss it, Tiamat's down.
I mean, after that Warmech, your party's just riding on a high. Tiamat ain't no thing. Looks like there's a lot of Espers on the Sharknado floor. I was just looking on Avis's screen. Got one in the Sharknado room, another couple in the bottom right corner. This is it. It just seems to be that inevitably you're going to find a floor or two that end up peppered with Espers in this case.
Yeah, I wonder if Jat wiped out of that, because Jat already found the Sharknado floor and is still pretty behind on was pretty behind on shards.
Right. Could be. Let's see what else we got here. A Catan -4. We got no thieves, so that thing is just going to be vendor trash, but we don't really need the money anymore. And don't look now, Burt Reynolds has like some 20-odd shards. It's amazing how they just start to come so fast towards the end of the game. Oh, those cracking Arsa Hags.
Yeah, Avos getting the bad news that the Wizzahag Arsahag pack is extremely mean today.
We do have a ribbon on that white mage though, so it's going to be hard to take her down. We get a fade out here. We can hopefully escape. Oh,
except that we're paralyzed beyond poison.
That's what I'm talking about when you have a situation where it's just like so frustratingly, agonizingly slow. You can decide to try and just hope that you get out of this paralyzed again. Oh boy. How much more do you take before you just pull the trigger and get out of there? It's a hard call because, you know, you're deep in a dungeon, you think you can escape, and if you just get a roll, you can get out of here.
Oh, the Arsahags also have Cure 4, because why not?
I don't think it's going to help them too much, because I think this fade's going to leave them with burns that they can't cure, as they all perish horribly. A sigh of relief for Avos, who then fades the Wiz-Sahags and can get out of here alive.
And Nuclear comes out and doesn't kill anyone on Jat's side.
Yeah. Props to Avos for sticking with that. I might have gotten tilted myself and reset out of that one. You keep getting paralyzed, you feel like there's no hope, you just pull reset, but nope. Sticks with it, gets out of there with oh no.
Oh gosh.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, gets the fade off. Here we go. That was close.
Jat making good use of Cure 4 charges to keep those last two characters alive, and bam! Massive jump up to level 31 for the fighter and the white mage.
Kenny start looking at the Mystic Keep, taking his time. It's so beautiful.
So let's see, 208 from a fade. We got some tempers going out. Tiamat swings for 173 on a mage, so Tiamat hitting fairly weak. Throwing some more tempers out. A little bit of Cure 4. What are we swinging for? 10 hits for 1,000 damage. Goodbye, Tiamat.
Yeah, at this point, we're not sure if Kenny Star had to step away, if there's a streaming problem. We don't know anything, but hopefully they'll be back in the run soon.
Look, sometimes you're in Ice Cave, you find the Mystic Key, and you just gotta make a pit stop.
I thought you were gonna make a joke about how they froze because the Ice Cave. All right.
No, they had to go into the gas station where they give them the key attached to the big thing, so no one steals.
Yeah, the sawed-off piece of a hockey stick with a hole drilled through it. Or
Yeah,
is that
exactly.
Just what I grew up with? Yeah. Yeah. The Mystic Key. That's just the bathroom key.
That's right.
Yep. Another Esper for Burt Reynolds. Another Esper for Burt Reynolds. Getting real close to finishing that off.
You don't want to know what you're digging through to find that incentivized locked chest in Corneria Castle.
Yeah, the room is locked for a reason. It's locked because it's occupied. Alright, Burt only needs four more shards to go.
Meanwhile, Avos still doing solo white mage strats up here, dealing with some Medusas and Catmen. Or man-cats. They're man-cats. I can never remember.
But they're not men cats. Sorry. It's the bad man's man-cat, man.
Maybe it is bad mans and men-cats. Who knows?
Men-cat.
Men-cat. Oh, hey, dragon armor +1. That's worth dropping your flame armor for.
There you go. Another old gold +5. Another Esper. Very close for Burt. 3 to go. Tantalizing at this point. You start to hang up every single one. Ah, the Marsh Fork. Way down here.
Yeah, we'd seen the Marsh Fork before, but I don't remember what was on either side of
it. I know nothing of this place. Oh yeah. This is a good floor. Lots of Espers down here.
Yeah, that was it.
This should just about do it. We know there's one in Sharknado. Might just head right there.
He only needs one
One
at
more.
this point,
One
and then
more.
he's done.
Yep.
One
Got a pretty
and
strong
done.
party too. Where is it? Where is
Katana
it?
-4. I can hear Will Bloodworth crying from here.
Yeah, the Vorpal was -2 as well, so all the crit fans are kind of sad.
Those are some unhealthy looking lobsters.
They've already looked like they've been thrown in the deep fryer. Ghosts. Those are like spooky, man. Alright. Ocho Caribe. Iron armor. Where's that last shard? Where's that last shard? Yeah, it's somewhere in the Sharknado room. I think it's behind the trap tile. Yeah. There we go. The Cat's Man. Who knows?
Catman's. There it is. There's the Bert's final Esper.
You're saying it too. It's catchy. Alright. Got the final Esper. Are we going to get out of here or are we going to keep exploring?
Looks like we're exploring just a smidge more.
Ah, the Asterix room. This one's incentivized. It's quite the floor. Everything's all spread out. Kind of frustrating. Lots of hard enemies. Sometimes you run into eyes, which are usually softer and have great EXP. That's a cool looking Chimera, though. Beautiful.
Yeah, I like that color palette on it. And it went down nice and easy.
That's just what you like. Sometimes this floor can be devastating. There's Medusas up here. There's eyes. It's a scary floor. Garbage. Another Esper. Just like they're spilling over now. He's tripping over them. Gonna head for the incentive item? No, I'm gonna do the other
I don't think he's gonna bother. I mean, at this point, he's got enough Espers, and he has both the key and the loot, so whatever that incentivized item is doesn't really excite him at this point.
No, it probably doesn't. Not a lot that it could be that you actually care about. It's probably some fetch quest that leads to something that leads to, like, maybe a fiend floor.
Yeah, it's probably bottle leading to herb, or herb leading to bottle, leading to whatever the last incentivized item was.
Yeah, that's an excellent guess, and it's probably exactly what it is.
Those are some really cool looking rock goals, though. They're like made out of amethysts.
Like 80s night in the Rock Golem dungeon. It's amazing what you can do with 3 colors when they're the right 3 colors.
Absolutely it is.
Not even gonna bother Gurmedusas. Gonna throw out a nuke just in case.
Well, he had most of his party survive the
At this
the
point,
Warmech
yeah.
fight, so he's at like level 28 and mid 30s on his party.
Beastie Party.
Yeah, he should be good to go. And Jat only needs 2 more Espers.
Yeah, T-Bay really pulling away here at the end of the road. Bird just doing a little extra recon down in the bottom of this dungeon. Finally, the greater than less than room. Yeah, we saw Jat here a long time ago.
Jat also at 33s and 28s for his party, so they're both doing real well as far as XP goes.
At this point, Bert gonna do a little chest checking, see what we got. Opal armor +2 is nothing to sneeze at. Ice armor +4 is alright too.
Yep, though I'm not sure if Bert found it. Jat would have told him where the Dragon Armor +1 was, so...
Yeah. Depending on your ribbon collection, the Dragon Armor's got more resist, obviously fire, ice, and lightning. But Opal Armor has a higher absorb with the extra plus there, so...
Bert and Jat skipped the hairpin chests in the armory floor, so they do not have a second ribbon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are some of the most out-of-the-way chests in the game. It's an unlucky break for them that they missed out on a ribbon, but I guess them's the breaks. They're still way ahead in this one. We'll see if it slows them down come ToFR. Really, all that what XFER and ToFR is clinging to, they don't know it yet, is that there's something excruciating down there that's going to give them a chance to get back in this game if Bert or Jet wipe once or twice in the Temple of Fiends, because they are both just about ready to take it on.
Yep. Bert, at this point, can just do some final clearing up and head in.
Yeah, I could see a little bit more of a grind if they want, or just do some paperwork here and get ready. Yeah,
Yep.
He said, now let's do it.
And Burt Reynolds is making his way down into ToFR, gets to the spike tile where we have got a steak and wings combo. Tyro, clearly Burt Reynolds is team steak and team friend versus food. And checking those incentive chests, we got an Opal 3 and a little bit of money. And we drop down that loot, heal up a little bit, and we are heading into the past. Chimeras bringing on the fiery chimeras, bringing on their icy counterparts, the Chimeras. Those are some real orange zombie dragons today. Jonathan Yoshi saying that's a nice palette on those Chimera. Yeah, we commented on that a little earlier. We both really liked the way those Chimeras look today.
Those
Frosties, looking real sick.
Not looking very frosty either.
Little de-thawed and left to rot.
He just ran away from them. No, thank you. All right, we're on the earth floor. We are almost at Lich. It's time for our second Fiend.
And it looks like Jat is also heading into the Temple of Fiends, or at least about to.
Yeah, it's I think Bert's party is slightly higher level than Jat's.
Yeah, not by much. I think one of his black mages is a lower level, but not by much, by like 1 or 2. But other than that, the rest of his party is higher.
Yeah, it's nice to have the higher level person go first, because if there is something particularly hard that they just barely survive, their teammate might not have, and the higher level party, which is more likely to survive, can provide some insight to the lower level one to help them get over that hump that they might not have beaten if they were surprised by it. So I like the strategy of having the higher level person first.
In the meantime, we are trying to feed Lich some cake, and he falls into a crack and is terminated. Goodbye, Lich 2. It was nice knowing you.
Ah, man. 20% of the time, works every time. It is so ironic how the Fiend of Earth can be defeated with Earth magic in the final dungeon, but it
right?
Is what it is. Hey, man. You forgot his job. You had one job.
Look, Lich had a lot of one job that he was never very good at.
No.
And we run straight into carry. And we getting set up. We're going with fast and nuke strats. Carry starts out with a rub, does nothing. Fast comes out before the swing. 10 hits, 550, not bad.
Wow.
Nuke stick for 130. Nuke cast for another 186. And we are going, thinking about it, yep, full damage strats at this point. Nuke cast comes out for 208. Another nuke cast for 366. And goodbye, carry. That is 2 fiends down in about 2 minutes.
They're going fast. We got the seafood party pack you gotta watch out for here now.
Meanwhile, we got Jat going harm strats, since he's got those 2 harm axes, and Lich 2 is down for Jat.
That is some brackish water.
Yeah.
Just says, no thank you. Gets out of there. This floor is notorious, but with the encounter rate being slightly reduced, there are sharks and Wista hags. Yeah, the ketchup and mustard is right.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right, through there, fairly good. Make it all the way to Kraken 2, the first of the extremely brutally hard trifecta of final bosses of this game. Let's see how Kraken 2 is feeling tonight. Looking dapper, dipped underwater, nice cool blue on top.
Yeah, it's a really nice looking Kraken. And so we start off with a fast. You love to see it. And a temper coming out before Kraken can do anything. And rusing up and in Viz 2.
Lucky to get all four off before Kraken's first round. And fire 3. Not what you expect out of the Fiend of Water, but, you know, things have been shuffled slightly.
And we're hedging with a nuke. And we're going to ruse up the White Mage too, just to be safe. So nuke comes out for 144. First set of swings, a single hit for 267. Uh-oh, Kraken's dodgy. We might want to start throwing out some locks.
Yeah, let's see if we got those lock 2, 7 charges. That's exactly what Bird goes for. Those locks are going to hit basically 100% of the time, and that should make Kraken easier to hit, and that'll really help.
And you love to see both of those locks go out before the fighter swings. So now we got 8 hits for 1,600 damage, and Kraken is officially Calamari.
Yeah, locked it up, for sure.
And that's going to be great information for Jet to have going in. That Kraken is dodgy.
Kraken's dodgy, throw out the locks. You know, instead of temper and haste, maybe go for a lock and a fast. That kind of thing. Because even a single turn could go faster. If that Kraken decides instead of casting Fire 3 to just come out swinging and hits your knight, you could be in real trouble if you're Jet. So everything you can do to beat this battle faster, the better.
Uh-oh. I think Jat's realizing that he never picked up the Ruse sword.
Well, that is a shame, but got the message. Does go with Lock 2 and Fast. Obviously, they're thinking along the same lines I am, but the Knight has... Oh, sorry, no, the White Wizard has Ruse.
Yep. And the Lock 2 didn't go out, but still managed 3 hits for 400-something damage on the Knight. So now we're going with Temper. And we're still rusing the White Wizard just in case. 4 hits for 197. Yeah, you need... we're starting to run a little low on health on those Black Mages. Nuke coming out for 111. Ruse. So yeah, we're going to lock it up a little more. And throw a Fade for good measure. Fade comes out for 88 damage. Not what you want to see. Lock 2 coming out. Kraken swings only 112 on the White Mage. Good to see. 5 hits for 700 damage. Not bad, not bad. So we should be just about locked up at this point. We just should only need one more swing from that fighter to take things down. And we're going to cure the White Mage just to be safe, but 6 hits, 778. Goodbye, Kraken. Meanwhile, Tiamat 2 is taking a snack on one of those Black Mages and just back-rowed the White Mage, but gets taken down with a massive swing from the fighter.
Time to heal and move on.
Yep.
Obviously, Team A looking really good to close this one out. X for me, ToFR U, not quite at the ToFR U part. So we've got a little bit extra room here. Burt Reynolds now on Chaos with 4. This could be it. Get ready for your first GG. Although the race isn't over till the second runner wins. So it's nice.
You never know. Yeah. Chaos could be really dodgy and just throwing out awful spells and skills.
Oh, it's not over yet. Chaos. Looking a little bit messy. Got sand all over his legs when we went to the beach earlier.
Yep.
That's stuff.
And so we're starting things off with a Temper. Chaos swings, doesn't do too much damage. Gets a fast out. Invis 2 comes out. And Ruse comes out. So we're probably decent on defenses now. And so we're going to throw out some Lock 2 and Temper just to be on the safe side. Going way up with Ruse again on the Knight.
Yep.
Lock 2 coming out, Invis 2 coming out, so we're going to be nice and defensive against this Chaos. Temper comes out, and Chaos swings again, 83 damage, and Chaos has Poison Touch. Not exactly threatening. So we're going to throw a couple more tempers out from the look of it, and we're ready to start swinging. And we hit 8 hits for 238 damage. Nuke Stick goes out for 318. Love to see that. Temper comes out. Swing and a miss from Chaos. Chaos is very punchy today. And we got tempers and tempers and tempers. And while we're talking about that, Jat is just about to pull Chaos as well. 10 hits, 871 damage. Oh, Lit 2 comes out and drops that first Black Mage. Nuke Stick going out for another 141. And let's see, we're going casting. We've got that Nuke Stick for 183. Another swing for 9 hits for 882. Chaos punches that Black Mage pretty hard, but another 200 damage from the nuke, and that does it. Burt Reynolds has defeated Chaos.
GG to Burt. Halfway there for Team A as Jat pulls Chaos and is about to finish this off for himself. With all that information from his teammates, should know that just layer on the buffs. Get ready with the Ruse and Invis 2. Chaos not hitting hard, only has Invis 2. Not too much to worry about, but you're still going to give him everything you got.
Absolutely. Get your Invis 2 charges out. Oh, no, he does have the Ruse Sword. Okay. Fast, going out. Temper, going out. So we got our second stack of Invis 2 on the whole party. Starting to swing, 6 hits for 18 damage. Yeah, definitely need to get some more tempers off. Chaos takes out one of the Black Mages, though, so we're going to be lower on temper charges. And we're throwing out a little more Invis 2 to hopefully keep that second Black Mage alive. Meanwhile, swing and a miss on the Fighter. Fighter swings for 238 damage. Now we're going for Lock 2. Invis 2 coming out again. Chaos swinging through with Lit 2. 7 hits for 192 damage. Yeah, Chaos is a little beefier. Gonna start throwing some tempers again. Makes a lot of sense considering the damage numbers we're seeing.
Yeah.
Lit 2 coming out.
Yeah, nice and easy. 9 hits, 853. That'll do it. Wall to defend all that. White Wizard taking no chances. You last temper charge a fight. Cure 4. Just, all the right moves to make sure nothing can go wrong here. Chaos can't even hit AAAA. 6 hits, 627 out of the Knight. Team A's namesake. Another Cure 4 from the White Wizard. 8 hits, 545. Chaos getting carved up bit by bit. DDDD with the nuke. 268. Pretty good roll there, too. Easy to hit. Slow him down. Finished him with a fade from BBBB. That's the real GG for Team A. Lots of letters tonight. And
finishing with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 47 seconds.
That means they take Game 2 of this best of 3. Having already taken Game 1, that seals it. It is fair to declare that Team A will be moving on to the Elite 8. XFER ToFR U's tournament is going to be over after they finish their runs tonight.
And I believe we were just joined in the booth by Team A themselves, Burt Reynolds and Jat2980. GG, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very nicely done. Looked smooth through the whole thing. You were quick to find the canoe, made all the right moves to get the floater early on, and really cruised. Didn't seem to struggle a lot throughout it. Was it feeling as good to you as it looked to the rest of us?
Well, aside from the Ordeals dungeon that never ended, in the early game that sort of sent Jat off on a wild goose chase for a long time trying to find the floater, everything went really smooth, I think.
Yeah, I've been on vacation for the last week, so I haven't been able to play as much as I usually want to, but Bert's a great partner, and we've done a bunch of practice, so with the routing, the decision making was all there, just a bunch of missed menus and things like that.
Yeah, I noticed when I was watching, and I pointed this out, and I'm wondering if you remember the moment, but I think you wiped a couple times fairly close back to back, but then you kind of got back on the horse. It was near the Q block,
yeah,
pretty early on, right?
To the metal slimes, yeah. So I approached that incorrectly the first few times. I didn't realize the first time, so I ended up wiping. And then the second and third and fourth times, I was just okay, I need to go in and get a few levels. and then I want to get out of here, save those levels. And that's what I was trying to do, but sloppy things like forgetting to heal, a couple extra steps here and there, and all those things kind of bit me in the butt for a minute or two there. But ultimately, I figured out the encounter table. I knew what I needed to do, and then I was able to get those levels and finish clearing what I needed to do down there.
Yeah, you bounce back very strongly from that, and that was one of those things I was talking about. Is like, are you going to end up tilted, or can you just get over it and continue on? And that's exactly what you did. And really, it didn't hardly set you back anything. It's a couple of quick wipes, and then off you go. So great job recovering from that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, with clamped enemies, wipes are kind of par for the course. I remember we were doing a practice seed earlier where there was unrunnable RDs. No, was it last race, Bert? Where there's unrunnable RDs and ordeals. And it's just like, oh, we can't kill these. So
yeah, the only spell we had was Fire 2. That was our last race.
Yeah. So that's just you're gonna wipe on trap tiles once in a while. You're gonna wipe on enemies. So in the early game, try and take those wipes with with grace.
Yeah, exactly.
And then get some levels and be able to clear the rest of the seed out.
Yeah, I had one other bottled up question I wanted to ask. Bert, after clearing ordeals proper, not the entrance, but the actual castle, you found the trap tile at the end after getting the tail was a fight against Sorias, and then you kind of grinded them until you ran out of charges, and then you got out of there. Was that kind of the strategy all along? Look for an opportunistic grind tile, or did it just come to you when you found them? What clicked that let you take that grind versus anyone before it?
The goal is just to get a couple, in the early game, the goal is just to get a couple levels so you don't wipe. Right, if you're running around at level 5, you're going to wipe a couple times. It's going to cost you more time than a short grind will save you. And also I wanted to try and get warp charges on my black mages. So if I could anywhere that I could get to level 16 or whatever I needed to get warp charges, I was going to do.
Right on. So they just presented themselves, and you're like, "Hey, I need those warp charges. I want to get those levels. This is the place."
Yeah, as soon as you can get a couple levels, try and get a couple levels.
I like it. No, it worked great. Bumped you up into the mid-teens, and all of a sudden, your party ends up a ton more tanky, and then you're not going to wipe to as many things. They're always lurking out there, but yeah.
If you have a level 15 fighter, level 15 fighter is indestructible. You just win the game.
All right. On the other side.
That's why, Bert, you went up to level 37 with your fighter, right? Because
That's
level
right.
15 wasn't enough.
That's right.
No, you both had pretty strong parties by the time you got around to ToFR, but honestly, it was a bit of a softer one, and cruised through it to a smooth victory.
Yeah, and those levels on those vampires were so free. It even gave you the Fire 2 gauntlet right before or right after you fought them. Sort of telling you to stay there and fight those vampires for a while.
Yeah, I was a little worried about that vampire grind with how hard that Whizvamp kept punching things.
How was it?
Yeah, the Whizvamp grind, the nice thing about it is that it had Stinger, I want to say, on a 50% chance, if I would guess. So that let you get away with a lot more of those fights. Also, my fighter had a decent sword, so we could if I got Fade off in turn order, that Whizvamp basically never got to swing. So it was relatively safe. The only problem with that grind was just that I had to walk so far to get to it, and I knew of another location, which unfortunately was in the Ordeal's Mega Dungeon, where I could get it more easily because it was just the Earth tile. But it definitely did the trick, and I mean, you saw that those just got us up to very safe levels. The only thing that would have made the seed any safer was life and on the night, but sometimes that doesn't happen. If I hadn't cast Ruse on my white mage against Kraken, though, they would have gotten wiped, and that would have probably been a reset. So, little things could have made a big difference there.
Oh hey, Avos just found a Mass Moon -4 in the locked chests in the Elfland Castle.
Oh, that old thing? It's all rusty and broken. Mass Moon -4 is actually pretty hard to put up against an Excal +5. Alright, so looking ahead to the Elite 8, of which the two of you have now booked your ticket, you will be taking on either the winner of the Vorpals, Sar and Lyra, or Onrak Oviparity Theater, Cernus and Zenobian. Any thoughts on either of those two teams and who you hope to take on in the second round?
Well, I don't know much about Lyra and Zar. They're a bit before my time. But Cyrenus and Zenobian are good players, I know that.
Yeah, for sure. I think Zenobian was in the brackets of Spring Tournament, and then I raced against Cyrenus, and I think the most recent Duckling Weekly, I lost him by like 10 minutes. So, he flexes on us ducks a little bit, so we got to be careful. It's going to be tough. This tournament's got lots of good teams.
Yeah, SAR's got to shake off the rust. He originally founded like the first FFR community that existed some centuries ago. Got his computer and setup working with the help of some others so he could actually participate in this one. Lyra, also been around quite a while. So we'll see if the old Vor pals have what it takes to take on these relative newcomers, Cyrenus and Zenobian, both of whom are much newer to the game than SAR and Lyra. But newer doesn't necessarily mean worse. SAR can be still pretty janky in some of that old rusty armor. So we'll see how it goes. Their first match, I believe, is actually later this evening at some point. They don't have a lot of time to cram in all 3 rounds because they have to finish it between today and tomorrow because that's when round 1 has to end, and they haven't played it all yet. So they better get their schedule straight. By the way, if you're watching this race and you want to, not that you have to, you can flick over to Speed Gaming 2, where all 4 runners are facing Chaos at exactly the same time. I'm not going to spoil it any more than that. It shames me to send people somewhere else, but our broadcast partner Speed Gaming treats us so well that I have to throw this out there. Sonny Wrath 11, Dark Moon EX, Ganon's Gone Wild, and Fry Teeth all taking on Chaos simultaneously on Speed Gaming 2.
That's must be quite a race. I'm looking forward to watching the VOD of that later.
Yeah, that's going to be a real barn burner, no doubt about it. Meanwhile, if you're sticking around with us here over on SG1, Avis and Kenny Star are getting close to picking up all of those required shards. They've been all over the place. Avis going to pop into Crescent Lake, pad the inventory, buy some houses. Kenny Star is somewhere else down in Ice Cave.
Getting close on those Espers. Oh, hey, there's an Aegis +2. Not a bad shield to have if you're a fighter. Still got a bit of work for Kenny Star to get enough shards. He's only at 19.
Alright, Avis looks like we're going to head to Lefane entrance. Bit of a trek, but you got to do what you got to do. Kenny Star taking on some Men Cat and the Medusa. It's been our running gag, so I can't let it go.
Fair enough.
Alright. And Lefane leads directly to Kraken 1. Time to pick up some shards.
Yeah, those 4 shards will put Avos right where he needs to be.
I have to say, I think this is the only seed I've ever ran where I found a nuke shirt and just never used it for the entire seed.
Yeah, your partner used it quite a bit. Threw it on the white mage and was just casting all over the place.
I just forgot I had it for like most of Temple of Fiends Revisited. Like my white mage always had something to do, though the plan was that if my fighter got punched out, that the white nuke samurai would, come out to play, but it never really happened.
Alright, here we are on Kraken 1. Dapper Kraken 1 with sort of like a blue collar. I guess you could say Kraken 1's just kind of a blue collar sort of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, I did roll you guys a pretty free seat as far as gear went.
Yeah, lots of good magic, lots of good gear, really easy ToFR. What do you want, Dr. Funkin? Just give it to him.
Look, I got a bad back. I can't be up too late. I gotta roll them nice, easy seeds.
Okay, next time just give us nuke at level 1, though. Make it,
It
a
was
lot
pretty
easier.
close. There's a nuke shirt and it was level 5. Like, that's not that
I
bad.
mean, come on. Exit was level 8. What type of entrance floor seed is free if exit's level 8?
Warp was level 5 and it was Black Mage learnable. So, I mean,
It was level
almost...
6.
Was it? Alright,
Yeah,
forgive
6.
me. Forgive me. You're right. It was absolutely impressive. Like, but it was still Black Mage learnable.
Yeah, so
It's true. It's completely oppressive seed. I apologize.
Exactly. we got to use what complaint equity we have, you know.
There we go. Avis got a 28 shards. Hour 41 minutes in. Time to head to Temple of Fiends and settle the score.
Meanwhile, Kenny really having trouble with these Men-Cat Medusa packs.
Well, I'm not going to spoil anything. I said earlier all 4 runners were on Chaos at the same time. The final finish was 8 seconds apart. That will be an excellent VOD to check out if you hadn't. The other match over on SG2 this evening. But that's all I will say about it.
Only 6 shards left for Kenny Starr before he can go to the past.
Little carry floor, pick up a couple of shards here.
Yeah, that'll bring it down to a 4.
This incentive chest is always so nasty because you have to take 3 trap tiles to get it.
Yeah, at least one of the trap tiles was just trolls.
They're just trolling you, but you need that loot. You're not gonna get too far without it. That should put extra meat.
Oh, that's actually a good point. Avos had enough shards, but they didn't have the loot yet.
I had forgotten all about it actually because so long ago. But yeah, you need the loot, you need the key. Very easy to forget one or the other and get to either the loot lock or even worse, you open up the plate, go down and get to the door, and it's like, this door is locked with the Mystic Key. What is truly interesting is, I'm not sure if anyone in the world knew that there were doors in ToFR locked with the Mystic Key until FFR. You can click on them in the vanilla game and it'll tell you, but you can always just walk right through them, so most people never knew.
I feel like it was one of those things that people had found out before thanks to, like, Game Genie, and they just assumed that those key locks were there to try and prevent people from sequence breaking.
Yeah, there's a couple other interesting sequence break prevention things, like ordeals requiring the crown and so forth. This game does have some bugs, don't get me wrong, but there are virtually none that really benefit the player. Heal 2, casting Heal 3 in battle is a small one, but most of the bugs in this game are in the favor of the game, not the player.
The weapon crit rate, maybe.
Yeah, that one's probably pretty helpful for most playthroughs, anyways. But like the turn order RNG being nasty, the fact that enemies' touch attacks hit you on every hit, even like once they hit once, like there's some ugly stuff in there that's stacked against you in vanilla FF1. The old gas Ds. Still their spry green cells, but with perhaps out their gas attacks just not half as harmful as you are used to. Kenny Starr staring down the barrel of a green, slimy war mech.
And
If you're
says,
wondering
no,
what that-
thank you.
If you're wondering why that war mech is green, it's because all of the NPCs on any given floor of the game have to share the same palette, whether it's a town, whether it's a dungeon, all the NPCs share a palette. And that means that war mech shares his palette with the air orb. And the air orb is green, so the war mech's green. That's just
I did not know that.
There you go.
Today I learned.
Hashtag just FFR things. Alright, Avis in ToFR, working his way through the snaky first few floors before we get to the real deal, just a little bit down the road.
Taking on that lovely purple worm.
Alrighty, well, our champions once again this evening are Team A, who go 2 out of 3 back-to-back, knock XFER ToFR out of the tournament. It's about time we said goodbye to these champions so far and wish them well in the Elite Eight. Burt Reynolds, any final thoughts?
No, this felt like a pretty good warm-up. The flags just get a lot harder from here on out, though. So we're gonna see a lot more struggling, I think, in the future.
They do indeed. Thanks for joining us in the booth. Wish you well. Have a great evening. Jack, 2980. Any final thoughts?
No, not much. That was a fun series, and like it was a good flag set. Like this tournament's a blast to play. Bird and I have been practicing it. Practicing for this is actually enjoyable. It's not like anything that's a big chore. That's something that's really nice to hear. And big thanks to Units and Dr. Funkin for helping out here, and as well as our trackers. Double trackers here, Jonathan and Luffy. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. And thanks again for Speed Gaming for having us.
It's been an absolute pleasure calling this one.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. Once again, we wish you all the best. I agree completely. Co-op FFR takes the solitude of the game that we were so accustomed to, flips it upside down, lets you play with a friend, lets you commiserate. You get entrance and floor shuffle, shard hunts, all these crazy randomizations. It's a real... It brings back such a sense of wonder and mystery. You never know what's around the next corner, and it's a great thing to share with a teammate. So, congratulations, and all the best in the Elite Eight. Good night, fellas.
Thank you.
Good night.
And Kenny Starr just making it through Warmech, barely surviving with the White Mage and the Fighter, but the Fighter jumps to level 33 and the White Mage jumped to level 28, so that's going to be great for when he finally gets to ToFR. And here's hope. Well, he had a bunch of life charges, but didn't bring anyone back to life before fighting Tiamat, so we'll see how this goes.
Maybe it's tactical. Maybe he just wants the extra EXP for the Knight and the White Wizard, figures they're good enough to get the job done.
Well, we'll find out.
It's a bit risky, but I can see it. That Excalibur +5 is a pretty good sword, but without all the buffs that you're used to...
It's only hitting for 113.
Yeah,
that ain't great.
It's not great. White Wizard's starting to get a little raggedy. There we go. 5 hits, 49. It's done. If that was the plan, it worked. Ace gains levels. Cal gains levels. Kenny Starr rocking the Gyre style naming convention. Ace, Bill, Cal, and Dan.
I'm sorry, what naming convention?
I'm not sure what the original genesis of those names are, but Gyre, the FFR streamer, always names his party Ace, Bill, Cal, and Dan, unless there's a better reason not to.
I always name my characters after JoJo's Bizarre Adventure characters, but that's because I've edited my sprites to look like characters from that.
Yes, well, I mean, if you're going to go halfway, you might as well finish it up. I have a lot of fun with it. Whenever I play casually, I always try to pick some kind of theme. Star Trek characters or Game of Thrones characters, personal friends, colleagues from different departments of the organization. Yeah, you got to mix it up.
I just got a Next Generation duty uniform in the mail this week.
You did not.
I did.
Ah, we could have a whole conversation about that. No one watching this race wants to hear it. Maybe we'll have it later. I am
Sure.
so jealous.
Absolutely, we can do that.
Man, the first time you put that on, you have to do like your little Picard maneuver.
What I need to do is get a smaller chair so that I can do the Riker sit.
Is it command?
Command, yeah.
Engineering or science? Okay, it's command. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna stop asking questions, but my imagination is racing.
It's fine.
All right, Kenny Star getting close to the loot plate. Gonna take on the Phantom, or in this case, the Tyro, this poor lost dinosaur. But Kenny Star takes pity on the beast and runs away. There's no need to kill a animal instinct dinosaur who's horribly trapped 2,000 years in the past when dinosaurs roamed the Earth. Alright, Ava's taking on Kraken 2. Sees the Thunder. Still gonna be okay, hopefully. Not sure how much buffing we got on Heat the Knight. Depends on... oh boy, that's no good. That is problem.
Oh boy, that's a real
What do we
problem.
We got the nuke shirt. We got some ruses. 102. We need ruse. We need more ruse. Needs more ruse. Yep, goes for it. Fire 3. Okay, this can work. If you can heal up, you've got the nuke shirt. If you're impregnable to like regular attacks, got enough ruse on there, then you're in good shape. I mean, not the best shape, but good enough shape. I like how it says nuke space 1. If you're wondering what's up with that, that's because the defense sword does not have a sword icon. So the nuke has replaced the defense sword, but it's +1, so you get the 1.
Nice. Oh my god, Avos manages to pull through with that white mage. Good thing, because we got some life charges.
Yep. I'm gonna manage to put this entire band back together on the span of a few life charges, and even gonna use some Cure 4 charges to save time. That's a bit greedy, but there's only 2 more fiends to go, so I can see it. Who wants to crank out all those heals? That's just a lot of work.
Yeah, it's just so much, finger motion. You're risking a repetitive strain injury.
Yeah. Won't someone think of the repetitive strain injury? All right, on to Tiamat. Avis has no idea what's in store. You and I all know that not too difficult. Should be okay, especially if we get some fast and tempers off before that Earth Black Wizard bites the dust.
Oof, big hit from the Tiamat right there. 400 plus damage on that knight. Ooh, and no Invis 2 on that white mage.
Sharp intake. Ha, the old quad X to take down carry. Very satisfying. Kenny Stour hot on the heels of his teammate. Alright. Swinging that Massa. Got the nuke charge. 114. Cure 4. Keep that white wizard alive. That's pretty important. That white wizard's got the life magic. Don't want to lose her. Those nuke rolls, just sad. 600 damage on that attack, pretty good. Should be just about there. 8 hits, 518, terminated. Good night to Tiamat. On to the final show, if we can get through the last little bit of encounter tiles here. And we can. Ava's now ready to take on Chaos.
So we got Kraken 2 and Chaos.
It's all hold together. Avos just ticks past 1 hour, 56 minutes. Looking to finish this one off before the 2-hour mark. Finish strong. 2 hits, 2 damage. Use the Ruse Sword, power up heat. This is really what it's going to be. Get as many buffs off as we can on that knight. And hopefully ride that to victory. A couple of tempered charges remaining. I think a lot of this really came down to party selection. On the left with Team A, you had 2 black mages, white and a knight. And on the right, you end up with 2 knights aside with only 1 black and 1 white mage. And that may have played a huge role in just how fast they were able to get through this game.
Yeah, it certainly could have. The magic was just so good that those extra black mages really paid off.
Yeah, it's almost exactly the kind of seed that lends itself towards magic-heavy party. Relatively easy ToFR means you don't need those levels, you don't need that tankiness. Obviously, that was all in favor of Team A. It's a sign that perhaps mixing up the party between the teammates might have helped too. They both rolled exactly the same party. And it just hasn't bounced their way tonight. But we're getting down to the wire here. Oh, Fire takes a hit, but Fire is not really the important knight. We expected Fire to take a beating.
Yeah, but we're looking at 6 hits for 43 damage on Heat as well, so Heat's not really doing so well on Chaos either.
Yeah, do we have any lock 2? We do. We'll see if we bust that out. 361's a little better. Now there's a nice nuke roll. 366, another 326. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, maybe some lock 2. That's... Get that out. Yeah, 66. That's not great.
Cast Heal 3 at just the right time as Chaos decided to punch the white mage. Stun comes out and is ineffective, so effectively a free turn.
Another nuke.
And now we're casting Ice 3 for chip damage.
There.
Oh, 10 hits, 469. There it goes. Chaos is down for Avos. GG.
All that remains now is for us to turn our attention south to Kenny Starr in the bottom right corner. Just trying to finish this one off. Time for the penultimate boss battle against Tiamat 2.
That it is.
Little tactical shift there. I'm going to slide Bill up front. Dan up front.
Oh, I'm not sure I agree with this. I don't want the white mage in at least the 3rd slot since that's got the life charges.
Yeah, this could go a certain way. Obviously, Kenny Starr really counting on those 2 knights, both of whom have tons of HP. But you're right, probably not necessary to back row both of them.
Especially when your best sword on the second one is only an Ice 4 sword.
Yeah. But we got over 250 damage out of Ace, and that's completely unbuffed. So things look good here. Tiamat, not very tough this scene.
Is Ace swinging the Sun Sword instead of an X-Cal?
We'll have to see. It looks like that might be the case.
I mean, the Sun Sword was +5, so it's a pretty good weapon, but there was a really easy to get X-Cal +5.
Yeah, they were giving him away.
And his partner had it.
Yeah. Alright. Thinking about it. Might be a little early for Quad X.
And, let's see. Sounded like we were joined by someone, but doesn't look like it.
Sorry, I just rejoined to say GG to them when they come back in.
Ah, excellent. Glad to have you back.
Jet lurking in the booth with us. ever gracious in victory. Should be here soon. Ava's having finished Chaos will hopefully be able to join us momentarily as we wait for Kenny Star to wrap this up. Dan does what Dan does best, which is Dan dies what Dan does best. Ace and Bill swing away. There goes Tiamat. A few more encounter tiles left before the final floor. Some quick heals. Run! Made it. Alright, nothing between us and Chaos now. Little, I guess you can call that a victory lap, but there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Kenny has struck out this evening.
Plenty of life charges. May as well toss one out on that black mage.
Yeah. What? Where am I? We're taking on the root of all evil? 2,000 years of past? Oh, yeah, right, okay.
I got fast. It's fine. Fast.
Fast them up. No substitute for coffee. 2 hits, 2 damage. That's kind of a shame.
Okay, it is equipped with X-Cal. I just saw it wrong.
There you go. Fast, quick shot. That's what we like. And some temper. Makes sense. And what are we going to do with the old white magic here? We'll go for some fade. Nothing on the the knights. Just attack city. 8 hits, 250. It's alright. 5 hits, 204. That ain't bad either. Fade for 312.
That's a big fade.
It's a good fade. Max is 340, so can't argue with that. No. It's 320, pardon me, right? I think it's 320.
You would know better than me.
I just have such a bad memory.
Living on borrowed tempers here. And goodbye, Dan.
Goodbye, Dan. He spent most of the last few floors pretty dead, so it's really just a return to form. At this point, it's almost whole day, but we're out of fade charges. We got nothing. Start swinging. Nothing.
We're out of Cure 4. Yeah, we got no fades, no heals, no Cure 4s. That white mage is doing nothing.
Yeah. It's whole day and win here. Whole day and pray, they say. 3 hits, 3 damage. 5 hits, 57. I don't think we got a nuke shirt on this crew. I think it may have been neglected or just forgotten. One way or another, Kenny Star not using one. 5 hits, 149. That's not bad. 5 hits, 31. That's a bit of a shame, but there we go. Cal's toast. And sometimes when you lose party members, it speeds you up because then you just stop thinking and start holding A. That's really what's the soul here. One strategy remains. 6 hits, 108. 4 hits, 77. Ace and Bill going down like brothers together. Keep swinging. 4 hits, 104. Stun. Ineffective. Ace comes back. 5 hits, 228. Chipping away. It's like trying to cut down a tree with a knife. 4 hits, 4 damage. That's it for Bill. It's all Ace now. Slow 2. I didn't even see whether that worked or not. 3 hits, 220. Probably not. 2 hits, 246. That's ugly. One way or another, I think this is going to be the last battle of the night. 5 hits, 307. Takes it down. GG for Kenny Star. Pulls out a tight one. Just after the 2-hour mark. And that will bring a close to this opening round. Sweet 16 dust-up between Team A and XFER, ToFR.
XFER, ToFR, finishing with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 59 seconds. GG, you guys, who have just joined us in the...
I think that's our best time so far with these flags.
It is. That is definitely our best time.
Yeah, it was fun.
You guys had a good run. Right up there at the end in ToFR, things got a little bit hairy. Had had the levels to do it. It was a little bit of a softer ToFR, which I think worked out pretty well with all things considered. The choice to go with 2 fighters and 1 black mage and 1 white mage, was that something that you've been planning on for a while, or something you decided a little bit later? How did you go about party selection?
Well, so kind of what happened was in match 1, which I don't believe was restreamed, it was really hard to get levels. And part of the reason why it was hard to get levels is because we were too successful at running away with a thief. So having, 2 kind of tanky characters and, 2 melee damage dealers still felt like the right call. But obviously I needed something slightly less good at escaping.
Yeah, I think what happened and what bit you this time is that there was so much good magic. Team A on the other side had more casters. They went with just the 1 fighter and then 3 mages. Mm-hmm. And it just, I think, got them off to a good start early because there was so much powerful magic that it was a bit of a bridge too far to try to catch up late game. But yeah, the when you phrase it that way, it makes perfect sense. You just wanted to make sure that you took some of the early grind early, and I think that actually was working for you, so that paid off.
Yeah, it did, but it definitely makes sense. Now, thinking about it, I didn't realize it at the time, but yeah, that was definitely a good magic seed.
All right, Jat's been lurking here. He wanted to wish you congratulations on finishing up tonight. Jat, you want to...
Oh, no, I didn't want to say too much. Just wanted to be here to say, GG's, thanks for the series. I appreciate you guys going a little bit around our scheduling concerns. We're 2 late night West Coasters over here, so thanks for staying up late. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. So GG's, congratulations on finishing. That was a real nail biter at the end there, Kenny Star.
Thanks. Appreciate it. GG, you guys.
Yeah, GG. You guys better go all the way, otherwise you'll make us look bad.
There you go.
Right.
You've got a cheering crew now. You got cheerleaders. They gotta have your back. Then they could say they were beaten by the best.
Well,
it is. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, they paired up with their first round opponents. If we have co-ops next time around, there we go. We'll have a group of 4.
There we go. All right. I think it's just about time we put a bit of a bow on this one. We'll walk down the list here. Any final thoughts from Avis?
Our main goal was to have fun, and I think we achieved that. We definitely had plenty of nail-biter moments, but I think this race we played much better than the first one. So yeah, it was. I'm glad we signed up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who think that if you go in the first round, it's a waste, and that's really not the case. There is so much prep and so much discovery and teamwork building and excitement and action, even in that opening round, that it's totally worth it. And you get opened up and exposed to so much stuff you never thought you would learn or do, and the pressure and playing and finishing strongly like you did. It's awesome, and you should feel really proud of yourselves. I mean, I don't have the guts to do it. No, I'm just kidding. I got so much stuff going on, but I love calling these races. Kenny, any final thoughts from yourself?
I just want to thank Avos for being my partner in this, and we have had so much fun doing this. And I want to thank everyone in the Final Fantasy community for doing everything they do day in and day out. It's amazing. I have no words for the efforts they put into this, so thank you all very much.
There we go. Gracious words from Kenny Starr. Thank you very much. I guess it's time to thank our trackers, Luffy DeVitale. Maybe I'm blowing that. Luffy, we'll just say Luffy. Jonathan Yoshi, who I call Yo-Yo, and don't think he likes it, so I think he prefers Yoshi, so I'll stop doing that. And my colleague this evening, Dr. Funkin. Any final words?
Hey, if you had a good time watching tonight, please follow all of our runners. They put on a great show for you, and please follow the Speed Gaming family of networks. And if you saw this and thought, wow, that looks like fun, I'd like to give it a try, come join us on the Final Fantasy Randomizer Discord, or go to FinalFantasyRandomizer.com and roll yourself up a seat.
Yeah, it's that easy. FinalFantasyRandomizer.com, if you can remember that, because you should be able to, because that's the thing you're watching. That's all you have to be able to type in to get started. It's super easy to get going. There's a huge community of people that want to help you, of which I am fortunate enough to count myself a member. That'll about do it. Co-op 2020 Final Fantasy Randomizer Tournament Sweet 16 opening round match goes to Team A. They'll move on to the Elite 8. Extra Me ToFR U is going to go back 2,000 years to the past. They're going home. Thanks to everyone who participated and came out to watch. Putting on the show is what it's all about. I love doing it, and thank you so much, Speed Gaming, for hosting us, all the crew there that makes it happen. It's about time to sign off and say goodnight. We'll see you next time.